All right, I want to talk a little bit of Big Brother. And again, I know there's people who watch my videos and they're like, I don't watch Big Brother. I also want to talk a little bit of Masterchef. Because Masterchef PO'd some people this week. And I'm right there with you. But I want to talk about Big Brother first. So this past week, Nick wins the prankster thing because America wanted Christy out of the house. So Nick has the right to put up anybody he wants in the house. It's a secret power. It's a secret power. Tells everybody in the damned house he's got it. It's a secret. Then he nominates Christy, which made it really, really clear it was him anyways. If he'd put up Nicole or Cliff or anybody else, nobody would have thought it was him. He puts up Christy after the huge blow-up they had in the house. And if you haven't seen it, I gotta say, I watched it on Twitter. Somebody put together a series of 6 videos. Wow. Now, I'm not really disagreeing with Christy on this either. And here's the thing. So, Nick puts Christy up. Holly puts Nick up. Nick's the target. And because the house didn't want to make Holly mad, Nick's gone. So America votes Nick to have this special power, and partly as a result, kind of, sort of, he's out. And again, we see a secret power used incorrectly. Sometimes they're not being used at all this summer, and nobody can shut up about it. And I still say the best thing to do with Big Brother is if you get a secret power, it's a secret. As soon as you tell anybody in the house, it's gone. That's got to be a condition. Please, production, do that next year. As soon as anybody mentions a secret power, they lose it. Because then you can have them go into the diary room every 5 minutes like, I can't tell people. Right. That's the idea. And then they snap. Right? So Nick's out, and now it looks like with Jackson as the new head of household, he's going to nominate today, and apparently it's going to be Jess and Christy. Christy's up for a 3rd straight week, but his target is Jess. Here's the problem. The pawn goes home. Do we not understand yet on this show? The pawn goes home. So I would not be overly surprised to see Christy say something stupid, do something stupid, and have people in the house go, you know what? Jess might be Jackson's target, but we are so tired of listening to Christy, and they boot her out of the house. So we'll see what happens there. Now, Masterchef. Micah was an interesting story. So Micah comes into Masterchef as a 19-year-old kid who, when he told his parents that he was going to try out for Masterchef, they told him, you do this, we're kicking you out of the house, basically. And it's a heart-wrenching story from that point of view. As I have a 19-year-old son, and if my son said, Dad, I want to be a chef, and I'm going to try out for Masterchef, I'd be like, holy crap, do it. Go. Make it work. And I'd be so proud of him. And the idea that this kid's parents were like, no, that's stupid. What he has said about it in the last 48 hours is they were worried that he would go all Hollywood. And like where it really comes to a head, and this is where people are mad. So they had a challenge this past week where everybody had a family member there for them. So everybody had a family member and they had to cook something that reminded them of home. Micah's parents declined to be on the show. Now, what Chef Ramsay told him at first was they weren't able to be here. And then during the competition, Chef Ramsay said, this is the first time in 10 seasons that a family has said no. Now, in that moment, I'm heartbroken for the kid. Yvonne's watching. She's heartbroken for the kid as well. His family told him no. Seriously. He was in the top 7. So, of course, he's not himself. And yet he still does pretty darn well in the competition. There were 3 people who could be safe. And I said, well, Micah has to be safe. He did really well considering he had no family backing him. And he was really upset. And he was crying during the competition. And he still made a really good dish. Nope. He had to do the elimination challenge. So he gets into the elimination challenge. And slices his finger pretty bad. So the medic has to wrap it up. And I can say that if he's using a cutting knife like I used to see cutters using at my old job, those don't just nick. Those you're looking at a big bleed pretty darn quick. So he was taken partly out of the competition with that, and I think he was still dealing with the emotional repercussions of realizing that his family still didn't support him. And so he brings his dish up, and his basically the entire dish was okay, except that the salmon was raw, wasn't cooked, and part of that is because he sliced his finger open. The only reason that I can see now, he gets eliminated and Suba stays in. And I've been a big fan of Suba's the whole way along, but he should have gone home with this episode. Suba's plating is terrible. And the biggest problem that I've had with Suba the whole way through has been, great cook. This guy, great cook. But not without direction. And when you're looking for a winner of Masterchef, you need somebody who doesn't need the direction. This is why I still think Sarah and Noah are going to be the front runners at the last two. Although Nick's in there too. I think it's Nick. I think so. I might be getting just the Big Brother thing. I'm pretty sure it's Nick, right? Anyways, I think they're the three front runners. And so for me with Micah and with Suba, I thought, you know what? Suba cooked it, but his food looked terrible. Micah's was the fish raw in the middle? Yep. But did the food taste good that he made? Yes. Everything else around it was pretty good. And the presentation wasn't bad considering. He was still clearly not 100% himself. He didn't make any excuses when he was eliminated. But I thought it was heartbreaking. And here's why people are mad. And they're right. So production sets this whole thing up. His parents say no. Did they ask for a friend to show up? Did they reach out to neighbors, teachers from school, somebody? No. And then when family stuff was being focused on, they kept zooming in on Micah while he was crying. I thought that came across as really heartless. Somebody somewhere in a control room going, okay, we're going to break Micah here. Zoom in on him crying. That's the only thing I can think of, and it's terrible. Chef Ramsay had a nice moment where he went out and he said, hey, I understand your family's not here, but I think of you as family. You're my family now. That was nice and all, and he's offering to help Micah out with getting into the whole culinary world coming out of the show, and I really hope he does that. And I don't see any reason why he won't. Gordon Ramsay is a great guy. Very, very nice guy. He swears a lot, big deal. Doesn't mean he's not a great guy. My problem is with the way production set this up. That they knew this kid had nobody there. They knew what this was going to do. And the cameras are all set to catch every single tear rolling down his cheeks. He's 19 years of age. You've got people in this competition that are over twice his age. It's heart-wrenching because you know that he was waiting. And for him to watch the other 6 people have their family members come out, and then he's left for last, and they go, oh, by the way, your family couldn't be here. They know exactly what they're doing. They should have started with that. They should have prepped him on the way in. Something to say, hey, here's what happened. We've got to talk to you. Pull him aside. We've got to talk to you off camera. And just be ready for this. This is what you need to be ready for this. So for that reason, I agree with people who say it's kind of heartless. That Micah had done some great work in the kitchen. The one thing, and I'm going back to what I was going to say, the one thing that I can understand that they might have looked at and said, okay, he can't stay in the competition. He has a really hard time with the competitions where it involves a frying pan and fire. And I would too. I can't stand when a frying pan's on fire. It's not something I've ever worked with, nor would I feel comfortable working with fire. I understand it's great, it's fantastic, and chefs do it all the time, but I would be alarmed and it would be tough for me. And I think that's what it was with Micah. I hope that's what it was with Micah, was that he had a hard time with that part of it, that when there's challenges where it involves firing the meat, he struggles with that. And that's why they finally said, okay, this is not the first time he struggled with this, and what we're looking for, he can't fill that need. I would think next episode, Suba has to be the one that goes. There aren't really any weak cooks left. And Suba's not a weak cook, but his presentation is kind of a shambles. And then you've got the fact that he is scatterbrained and he needs direction. He would be a great sous chef in a kitchen. He can make a fantastic. I don't know that I would want him as a head chef in a kitchen, and that's kind of what you're looking for with Masterchef, is somebody to make a great head chef. To me, it's Sarah's. I would be stunned if Sarah doesn't win it. She cooks very well, and she's good at pretty much everything in the kitchen. I think it's hers to win, but I can understand why people are frustrated, ticked off, and saying they're not going to watch anymore because of how Micah was treated on the way out the door, and that they didn't think it was fair. I kind of agree with that. I'd be interested to know from people who watch MasterChef and watch this, how upset were you with Micah being voted out? Because I was almost at the point of tears. It was close. That was heartbreaking. I had to leave the room a couple of times because I was upset. And then I cheated online because it had already viewed. I was watching it on the on demand. So since it was in the on demand menu, I'm like, I'm gonna find out if he goes home. So I found out beforehand that he lost, because I was like, if he loses, I'm gonna be really upset. I need to find out that he lost and see what the internet's reaction was if he loses. And the internet reaction was, this is stupid. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. So, and again, it comes down to that whole reality thing, right? How far do you want to go with it? Have a heart. Have a heart. You know, the kid's family, and they're dicks. And I have no problem saying that. If your kid is one of the top 7 chefs on a show like this, and he can get through these competitions, the kid's a warrior. He's going to be a success in his life. And if you're not going to support him, you're a dick. I don't care what the reason is. It's just, it's a dick move that your kid's got a dream and you're not going to support it. And that's tough. So there were a lot of people I saw online on different entertainment sites and on Twitter too. They're like, I will adopt Micah. Great kid. I'll adopt him. He can be my kid. I'll be his mom. I'll be his dad, this kind of thing. And that's great to see. And I hope he sees that. I hope he understands that he's got a lot of people that will support him. You know, I would definitely go to a restaurant where he was the cook. I would have no concerns about it. He's a damn fine cook. So I really hope it works out for him, and I hope he goes through and gets all the training he needs, because I think with the right amount of training, I think that's his life right there. It's just, he is a chef. That is the best thing for him. There have been some competitions in this year's MasterChef that I'm like, this is stupid. And he hits it right out of the park. Where I'm like, that's really creative. And that's important too. And that's something that Suba's kind of struggled with, as well as the creative side. Again, Suba would make a great sous chef, but he really shouldn't be this far. There's certain points where you're like, okay, he's like Brie. He's not really better than Brie, but he's still there. I understood why they got rid of Brie, but still, I don't think he's a better chef than Brie. But anyways, let me know your thoughts, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And if you're a Big Brother fan, you likely were very upset that Nick got voted out and Christy's still in the house. I got a funny feeling Christy's staying in the house for a while. And I also will say this. If she goes to the final 2, if she gets there, she'll win it. But that's only my prediction. Let me know yours. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.